Julia, are we expecting more information from the city?
Well, Val, many questions still remain. Why he was replaced on administrative leave in the first place, and if this was a paid or unpaid leave. What we do know now is that Albert came to Montgomery with 30 years of law enforcement experience. He was Special Operations Division Commander for New Orleans Police. According to our sister station in New Orleans, WVUA, Albert was under review for accusations of violating the department's policy on sexual harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. The results of that investigation were never made public, but Albert kept his job. While chief in Montgomery, Albert was credited for expanding the Star Watch surveillance camera program, in addition to working to increase officer pay. Now, when Albert was placed on leave last week, the city released a very brief statement that said the reason would be announced when the matter was concluded. We've been reaching out to Mayor Stephen Reed's office, and to answer your question, Val, we were told the statement should be coming soon. We, of course, will pass along any new details when we receive it.
Sally, I was in talks with Anthony Daniels yesterday and just heard from him today. He's feeling good about the election so far. A little bit more about the candidate. He's a former elementary educator, an author, and a graduate from Alabama A&M, so you can see that education is very important to him in his campaign. He says that he wants to push for higher wages for educators, invest in programs for elementary and collegiate students, along with the lottery, using that money to go towards education. Now, throughout the night, I'll share more about what he is advocating for if he was granted this seat. His event starts tonight at 7. Guys. This afternoon, Air Force 2 landed at Maxwell Air Force Base for the Vice President Kamala Harris to go to the Selma Bridge Crossing Jubilee. Members of her team, if you can see me, I don't know if Ted can get me in this shot right now, but we have to the left of us is where Vice President is right now, along with members of her team. To the right, which I believe I heard one of her press representatives say that people in the press traveling with her got on that helicopter, so I think they're getting situated right now. Once they get situated, they will then land in Selma, where they will then be taken to Selma. I know that people are waiting right now for her to give her speech, but as of now, I don't know when they are going to take off. Right now, we still have the colonel and the mayor waiting for her to lift off. But Air Force 2 is right next to us. Now, the Secretary General Stoltenberg opened the floor from questions from employees. One senior manager did ask how long they anticipate NATO backing Ukraine in this war. He said they're going to continue to do so because it's important to keep families safe, just like we do in the United States, but also in Ukraine. He also mentioned that in Pike County, if they continue to produce missiles, this will ensure job security while they continue to provide weapons across the world. Well, Bethany, it's happening between the Library Tower and Goodwin Hall on AUM's campus. The professors say that anyone that comes to the eclipse party will see about 81% of the eclipse from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. So right now people aren't out there, but they soon will be, and they will be putting these on. Now, my glasses I got from the air show yesterday, Bethany, but you have to make sure that they are ISO certified so your eyes are safe when you look directly at that sunlight. Do not look at it without protective eyewear. We will be back with more at 6 o'clock tonight and 10, just to see how the turnout was for this eclipse party. But I know people will be watching across the state and across the nation. And the Humane Society has seen an increase in animals. That's why they're reducing fees. The good news is 25 animals have found their forever homes. Cats and kittens have also, they're completely gone. The room is completely clean. And right now we have with me one of the adult dogs ready to go home. This is Troop. He is a friendly guy, loves other animals, and he'd love to be your forever friend. Troy University Police Department has seen a slight uptick in DUIs. They're combating the issue with their new Choose Your Ride program. So here's how it works. If a student needs a ride, they call TUPD, and an officer on call at the time will come pick them up. Now, some students are concerned if they will be penalized or charged for being intoxicated. Poll workers say they have had 750 13 voters so far, which they say is pretty average. People are cheering for that. But if you still have time to cast your vote, here are some of the things you will see on your ballot. Statewide, people will have to vote on Amendment 1, which experts say will allow local bills to pass quicker and more efficiently. Now, specific to Montgomery County, educational leaders are asking you to vote yes on the renewal of the property tax, which will bring $11 million to Montgomery City Schools and $1.2 million to Pike Road Schools. Again, this is just a renewal, so it will not increase your property tax. Alabama continues to see fatal crashes along roads like the one behind me, I-65, and Aaliyah tells me that it's because teens have more extra time during spring, between spring break and graduation ahead.
Alabama is a pro-family state, but this ruling is not a pro-family ruling.
Without IVF, the Matthews would not have their 2 biological children today.
It provided hope for a family that I had not really had any luck with.
Now that hope has been diminished. Another Alabama fertility clinic has closed. Alabama fertility specialists in response to the state Supreme Court ruling.
Equating an embryo to being a child means that the legal ramifications of running an IVF lab are simply too great for physicians or embryologists to continue.
Physician Mamie McLean says clinics are closing out of concern they could face criminal charges. She says that will lead to fewer babies being born in the state and result in families leaving Alabama to get treatment.
I think, one, the hysteria has to stop.
But medical lawyer and IVF recipient Gianna Mandich says facilities don't have to close. She says they should first consult with their legal team.
You know, well, if I biopsy an embryo or if I freeze an embryo, is that harming an embryo? That's not negligent, right? That was intended. The parents contracted for this. That's part of the IVF process. But you will be civilly prosecuted if you destroy embryos without parents' written consent due to negligence.
Mandich says if IVF providers are conducting business ethically, they should be allowed to continue doing business. But until the state legislature clarifies the law, many IVF families are left in limbo.
Alabama Supreme Court has picked the wrong group to pick a fight with, and that would be the people who are already suffering enough.
While the focus has been on IVF, those going through surrogacy are also affected by this ruling. That's because mothers have to go through IVF treatment in order to provide a fertilized egg to the surrogate.
For a decade, young adults in Montgomery with special needs have been able to receive real-life experience while working at Baptist South.
We want to make sure that they've got the educational background that they need, the soft skill employment background information that they need to have to be able to go forth and be successful in obtaining greater independence and employment.
Every 10 weeks during the program, students work in a different department, whether that be cleaning the hospital or assisting in the respiratory department. All of them say they are honored to do the work that they do.
I have never in my life have been working inside a hospital before, never. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. And I'm just thanking God.
We don't play around. We do what we got to do to make our parents proud and our others' parents proud and our grandparents.
Precious McCorkle is a great example of the power of this program. Instructors say this program revealed the true Precious.
She's pretty shy and withdrawn, or she was when she came to us, and now she's like the auntie of the group, and she talks to everybody. She knows everybody's business.
She especially bonded with her mentor, Juan Harding, who started off in this program 4 years ago and has now been hired by Baptist South.
He made good advice to make me real feel better, because I did lost some people in my life. It been hard. Only thing I remember.
Growing strong people in and out of the workforce. Besides hands-on experience, students learn about filing taxes and managing their checks. Instructors say those who have graduated from the program have been successful, and some working at Baptist South full-time.